Hi, this is Ray from YaG Gaming Media, and I wanted to make a quick video in reference to a new rumor that has recently resurfaced on the internet in regards to the next Pokemon game being released for fall 2016. According to a YouTuber named Metal Dave, he allegedly has sources in Nintendo of America's marketing team which allowed him access to view the games for 2016 that are going to be released. And of course, some of those games we already knew about, such as Dragon Quest 7 and 8, Bravely Second, and Mario and Sonic Rio 2016 games. But most importantly, one of the games on the list is Pokemon Niji, which is codename for Pokemon Rainbow. Now, I wanted to make the video because when I saw Metal Dave's video and he mentioned Pokemon Rainbow, it got me to think about when Pokemon Rainbow was actually rumored to be released. And that was years back, about 2 years back, when Pokemon X and Y was going to be released. There was a rumor surfacing online that instead of Pokemon X and Y, it would be Pokemon Rainbow. That was thought of as the first actual 3D game for the 3DS. So I guess the rumor appeared where it's going to be some big Pokemon game where you can just go to every region and collect the badges, similar to the actual TV show rather than the game. But that didn't happen. It was Pokemon X and Y. So, you know, I'm watching his video and then it strikes me as Pokemon Rainbow. And, you know, it's a little bit odd that that would come up. It's odd because I don't believe it's true, but it's odd that he would say it's true and then say his sources, you know, his sources claim, oh, that's from Nintendo. Now, I'm sure he believes, you know, what's true, and he believes in his sources, but I don't think Pokemon Rainbow would come out on a 3DS because the scope of Pokemon Rainbow is just so big that one would think you would need to have it on an HD console which allegedly is an HD and is cartridge based, but it have access to some kind of cloud service where you can actually get games and store them on there. And with the game like Pokemon Rainbow, the vision of it, if you put it on a 3DS, it's just going to be a watered down version, and it's probably just going to have maybe 1 or 2 regions on the 3DS, and then the rest will be like DLC or expansion packs. And that, you know, I don't really see Nintendo actually going down that route. Another thing that struck me as odd was how much Nintendo is putting into Pokemon Go. And I think if you were to have Pokemon Go which is rumored to be released in 2016, end of 2016, 2017-ish, I think if you're going to release a project as big as Pokemon Rainbow with Pokemon Go, I think they're going to clash with one another, and that wouldn't be good. The fact that Pokemon Go is marketing towards nostalgia, because when you look at the commercials of Pokemon Go, you're only seeing, you know, Gen 1 Pokemon, and the fact that Pokemon released Red, Yellow, and Blue in America and then Red, Yellow, and Green in Japan, I think what would be more logical would be Nintendo releasing a remake, an actual remake of Pokemon Red and Blue, or Red and Yellow Blue, or red and green and blue and yellow. I think that would be more logical, because just for all the steps that Nintendo is taking to market, and you've been with Pokemon for 20 years now, you know, trying to cater to that older audience, I think Nintendo would make a Pokemon game that actually caters to the older audiences. And I know that the older audiences, including myself, have been begging Nintendo, begging Game Freak for a remake of, you know, the first gen, because that is where all the nostalgia is. You know, everyone started on first gen if you're around, you know, 20 or so. And I think it's a great way to introduce Pokemon back to what it was before. I'm all for innovation and changing things up, but Pokemon, even though it's been staying on the same route, it slowly but surely has been losing its touch and its magic. And that's pretty much why Yokai Watch was so popular in Japan for that 1 year. People they needed something new and fresh. But of course, you know, Yokai Watch was sold out, and they just kept releasing, I think they released 3 games in a year, 3 main storyline games, and then it was just a whole bunch of like unnecessary side games that really, you know, drew the crowd away from the game, and more back to Pokemon. All the signs are looking up and pointing to one direction. I believe that, you know, we're gonna get at least a remake, that Pokemon Yellow, Red, and Blue remake. I definitely think running on the same engine as X and Y, similar to Oros, but I think it's gonna be, you know, just Pokemon Red, Yellow, and Blue. But you never know, they could have a story where they build a giant train rail that connects 3 continents together, 2 of them which are located in Japan, and then 1 that extends all the way out to the Kalos region. However, that would kind of be contradicting of the Kalos region's first episode in Pokemon X and Y, where Ash had to take an airplane to get there, not a train. I don't think they would even consider Ash taking a train, because it would probably take a long time. But, you know, that is kind of contradictive if there's a train from the Kanto all the way to the Kalos. It's kind of like these plot holes that hopefully Nintendo can just, or the Pokemon Company, excuse me, they can just really just dig back up, because I'm trying to think of this logically, but it kind of does not make sense. But, you know, I'm sure we're gonna see in a couple of months exactly what's gonna go on. Now, I don't want to forget to mention that it is expected of the Pokemon Company to release a main game this year, since they haven't released a main game since Pokemon Oros. What is rumored originally was that Pokemon Z was going to come out, since the Pokemon Company did introduce new Pokemon Zygarde forms. However, that's kind of contradictive to what the Pokemon Rainbow rumor is stating, that game will be releasing instead. I don't see a gray area where they both get released, or where there's a mixture of both. However, what I do see is that Pokemon Rainbow is released, and there is a Zygarde event with the forms. You know, it's a little bit confusing because the regions are separated. The Kalos region, which is supposed to represent France, and the Johto Kanto region, which is parts of Japan. So it's kind of hard to see how they can be connected directly. Like how, if there was a direct route, it's probably going to be something mythical. If the Pokemon Company, they do decide to have a remake of Pokemon Gen 1, which is the Red, Blue, and Yellow, and include a Zygarde event or a Zygarde theme with that, I would assume that there would be either the railroad idea, which is probably not the best route since that might take a long time. The airplanes might be a big thing as a form of travel in the games. Maybe even teleportation, because some Pokemon can teleport, some can fly, but the region, it's extremely far from one another. So far that even when you're playing Pokemon Gen 1, you know, it starts off as these are the only Pokemon. If it wasn't as far off, they would have definitely seen some Kalos Pokemon in the Kanto region. Even with the Kalos episode 1 for Pokemon X and Y, Professor Oak didn't know anything about the Kalos Pokemon. You know, they didn't see any of the Mega Evolutions or anything. He didn't get to study that because that wasn't available. And as Ash was leaving, there was no introduction of the Kalos Pokemon being native in the Kanto region. So that's kind of another plot hole. And, you know, once you go to examining things, it's like you just go into a giant loop where it's kind of not making, the pieces aren't really falling together. But, you know, the Pokemon Company will definitely, I can see them putting the pieces together, and probably would be like some kind of teleportation with the Pokemon, with the Zygarde, or you know, Latios and Latios and Oros, they do have the ability to fly around, the move called Soar, where they're able to actually fly around the island, and you can fly around in third-person view of the region. But again, it's like the distance between France and the distance between Japan is just so far off that even a legendary Pokemon, I don't think, well, I mean, I guess because they're legendary Pokemon and they're like gods, I guess I can see Rayquaza flying from the Johto and the Kanto region. Maybe they'll restrict it to where only legendaries can fly you to those regions, or if you can use Soar, or there'll be a new move with Soar. Yeah, you know, it's really hard because I want to see the game as something more realistic, and they use the physics in the game will be realistic, and the storyline is this grand, amazing story that's really realistic and mature. But at the end of the day, it is Pokemon, and nostalgia or no nostalgia, it is catered now towards a younger audience, so I don't think they'll even touch upon that. They might just briefly say that some Pokemon can fly from the Kalos to the Johto region, or you know, to the Sinnoh region. They'll find a way to tie everything together. Most likely it's some teleportation event that'll probably be distributed over Wi-Fi. But yeah, I think Pokemon Rainbow, see, I'm not too sure about it being real, because even if it was real, I don't think I would want it. What I would want is a full Pokemon experience, and I know that if they have it on a restrictive cartridge like the 3DS, it's not going to be a full experience. It's going to be a great experience. You know, everyone's going to buy the game, of course. It's going to sell millions of copies, but it's not going to be the best that it actually can be. No pun intended. But yeah, that's just my analysis on the Pokemon Rainbow rumor, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. Please make sure to comment, like, favorite, and subscribe if you're interested in more YaG Gaming Media videos. Now, we are a new channel and we still are working out the kinks a little, so please bear with us, but we are definitely interested in making more videos, especially videos in reference to gaming and the LGBT community. And please thumbs up the video so I can know that you're interested in me making more of these analysis videos on rumors and other gaming controversies. Please also feel free to check us out at facebook.com/YaG Gaming Media or twitter.com/YaG Gaming Media. We can use all the support we can get. Have a great day.